Yes, welcome everybody. We are here with the wonderful Lorraine Coffey. Is that how I say it? I forgot to ask you how I pronounce your surname.
Oh, it is Coffey. It's spelt EY, but it's Coffey, yeah.
It sounds the same as coffee. Okay, well, that's always good. So yes, delighted to have you here. It's been such a journey for all of us on planet Earth, but I know that you've been on an amazing and extraordinary and some of it not all that great journey. So thank you so much for being here. I truly value the work that you have brought on the planet over the years I've known you. And I met you in France when you had your wonderful gallery, and it was called Laurie's Angels.
That's
And
right.
that was such an experience. I know many people that will watch this video have been there and have been gifted with all that those angels were able to impart. So thank you for creating that gallery and for holding, that, I don't know, it feels like it was a portal while you stayed there, because once you left it was gone. Like, I went there to the gardens and it just wasn't the same. So thank you for being there. The amount that you held, the frequency there. So yes, very excited to have a little chat with you, and I would like to share my experience of not only the angels, because you also at that time, what year was it?
I was inspired to start working with clay, which I had never done. Again, I'm an intuitive artist, so I always say I'm spirit thought, and that's the way I work. But I had come to the last painting of the angels. I really felt this was the last piece, and felt like a door was closing for me. And I God, it must have been probably a year after, so it would have been 2013 before I felt inspired to work with clay, and it just came out of the blue one day. So that was my first time to actually touch a piece of clay and work with it. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Because those, I wish we could share the pictures of your, I don't know if you have any nearby, but I should have mentioned that before.
Yeah, I don't, but I could send them on to you, Anouk.
Yes, maybe I have a way of adding it at the end of the video. I don't know how yet, but I will find out. Yeah, I think that would be so powerful.
Yeah.
So yeah, so welcome to this little chat, and thank you for sharing. I would love for you to continue sharing how you came. Obviously, as you were saying, you felt that you were supposed to be doing some kind of sculpture and you had never touched clay, and then this magnificent sculptures came by. So please, if you would share with us
Yes,
how that came into being.
it was a wonderful time because I hadn't, because I work intuitively, I hadn't worked for a number of months. I didn't feel the connection, or I didn't feel the calling. And on this particular day, and it was also after a dream I had had, I think that probably was sparking something. Again, it was a very prophetic dream, and I was brought out of my body, and I was actually held out in space, and I was been asked to look at the earth, and I was been told that the hearts of the planet was changing and the earth was tilting, and the only thing I remember was been said to me from behind was, you really got to fasten your seatbelts here because things are going to start changing. Little did I know what was to come for myself. So there were a lot of positives, but also huge challenges in my life then, because I became seriously ill. But going back to the sculpture, it wasn't probably long after that dream that, again, a lot of things happen when I wash the dishes. I was washing the dishes, and just out of the blue, this thought of working with clay just dropped into my mind. And again, going back to that working intuitively, when something, abstract drops into my mind, I kind of always pay attention to it. Along with that came this huge excitement within me, even though I'd never worked with clay. It was like I knew spirit was calling me again. And so I suppose, as Eugene knows, once I get one of those thoughts, there's no stopping. So he's wonderful in terms of supporting it. So I mean, it was just straight out, buy some clay, and I literally just started to, through the excitement, just start to build the clay. And of course, I'd no idea of what was coming, because I never do, which is part of the wonderful excitement working with spirit. During that process, there was a moment where things started to change. And when an artist works, they'll often talk about when they go into this moment of flow. So this occurred, and it was the most beautiful experience, because it was as though I was kind of way behind, looking out through my eyes as such. But this most beautiful presence that I would feel quite often when I work, through my allowing that flow to continue, seemed to just move further into me and take part in the whole process of building and creating the pieces. And with that will come, or did come, the most beautiful, it's very hard to put words on it, but because it's so all-encompassing, there's not one word you can use on it, but I know people will understand this. But the most wonderful sense of compassion and love and kindness, and all these different emotions came during the process of creating them. And I actually feel that is the energy that came from spirit, and way out there into creating these pieces. And it's those feelings and emotions that are actually held within the pieces. And they're called the VII Sounds. It's a body of work called The Return of the Gods, and it's the first part of it. But each piece, I feel, their mouths are just ever so slightly open. They're all sounding the same, divine. They're in deep prayer. And they're very much so calling us, or reminding us to return to, those, I suppose, simplistic ways that I mean, we interact with people every day through, well, we should, with kindness and love and compassion. But I think they're just reminding us of that, to interact with others as they interact with us, So yes, it was such an incredible experience over probably a period of a year, which was very intense, but very beautiful. And as I say, each piece sounding the sound of the divine. That's what I suppose the essence of the body of work is, and what spirit wants us to experience. So.
Wow. I wish, like you said, I wish I had the words, and I wish I could convey somehow how I experienced them. I feel such such gratitude that I was so lucky to be there when you were creating them. And I saw them when they were all finished. I think you were just finishing the last one, but they were pretty much all finished. And you invited me to come into this room that you had, and it was, special moisture holding, like the right temperature controlled so that it would dry slowly, right? And I remember walking in there, like literally feeling, I mustn't speak here. This is a holy place. It felt like I had entered some kind of ancient temple. And although they only have, you know, pretty much a head, I felt that they were standing. There were beings standing there. It wasn't just the sculptures. The sculptures somehow transported me to, I can't say it was a vision, but it was just a knowing that they were there. And yes, the way that they hold, you know, the lips just slightly parted. I wish I could say that I heard the sound, but I heard the sound. I wasn't with my ears. It wasn't a sound that was audible, but I know that I heard it. And I know, I don't know if you remember, but I know that for days, this feeling stayed with me. And I can't put the words into it, but it felt like I'd gone to another world, to a sacred world, to a ancient temple in the presence of divine beings. And as you say, benevolent beings. I think I may have told you that they did stay with me, like that. It felt like they were with me for quite a few days, and then, you know, slowly faded. But I have never forgotten that experience. So I'm so grateful that we can share this here, because I do hope that at some point they are able to come to the world so that people can visit them, perhaps in a gallery, or I don't know what the vision is, but
yes, I'm hoping. I mean, after this, the sad thing about it was, you know, I hadn't completed the last one fully before I became seriously ill, and it's been 8 years in terms of my recovery from Lyme's disease, and I'm only starting to, in terms of my energy, come back and do some work. And it is my dream one day that we will be able to share them and share the rest of the gallery, hopefully one day, where they can be presented and people can experience them. And it is beautiful to listen to your experience, because it was fascinating when I would bring people in to see them. You know, they hadn't been, as I say, they were all wet, the clay was wet, and they hadn't yet been cast, you know, because they were to be cast into bronze to protect them. And but I did get to allow certain groups of people that came to the gallery in, which was, it was very humbling, like I'm listening to your story, and me as an observer as well, because so many people, I would be allowed to witness the response or the reaction that people would have when they would visit, or, you know, go in and spend some moments. People would cry, they wouldn't know why they were crying. People would say they had recognized one of them, or like your experience too, you were brought somewhere to remember. And there was another beautiful story that a lady sent after having had an experience with them. She left the gallery feeling she couldn't be exact, but she felt that she knew one, but she couldn't quite place it until she sent me a beautiful story. And one day, after waking up one morning, she remembered that as a child, she was waiting for the school bus. She lived in the States somewhere. I think she might have been about 6. And she had her school bag on her back waiting for the bus with all the other children. And something caught her eye on the ground, and she bent down because it was glistening. And she went to pick it up. And as she went to pick it up, the school bus actually hit her and threw her into the air, and she was left on the ground. And with such a force, all the people thought she'd actually been killed. shortly after, she was actually brought to hospital, and she relayed the story that when she was unconscious, she remembered this beautiful being coming to her, and there was a beautiful light, and telling her that she was going to be okay. And it just so happens, she said, that a short time later, as an adult, you know, when she went back to the States after visiting the gallery, that she remembered the image of the person that had met her while she was unconscious was one of the seven sounds.
I
So
mean,
they reach and touch us in the way, I suppose, that is unique to us, you know, in the way that they want to connect with you, me, or anybody else. So the experience is quite unique for each person. Yeah. So
amazing, amazing. Yeah. There is there are many statues here, there are many carvings here. I live in Luxor, and we have a lot of temples, and a lot of the full-size sculptures are of Sekhmet, and she is the lioness goddess of the pantheon of Egypt. And there is a little chapel at the temple of Karnak on the other side of the river. So I'm on the west side, and Karnak is on the east. And Karnak temple has it's a chapel. And this one sculpture is made of, I think, diorite, which is a very hard stone. It's I want to say some kind of granite, because it does glisten if you look. There's some amount of crystal in it. And I don't know how they did it in ancient times, or whether it's to do with the location, the Earth's electromagnetics, or if it is to do that somehow she holds some kind of memory. But I have had so many experiences with this Sekhmet carving, and so many have had it too. And just as you were saying, I was thinking, oh, there is something similar to what was done in ancient Egypt, and somehow to how you're working and how you're bringing it through. You are certainly bringing some kind of, it's a frequency, but it feels alive. This Sekhmet feels alive. There are many here, but this particular one will literally, I know it sounds crazy, but she moves, and many people have seen it, and many people have seen it together, that it moves. So they all had the same experience.
yes.
So
it's beautiful, because the more, with working on that body of work, spirit was moving. Spirit moved me to participate in the creation, and through the pieces, it still moves people. So I can totally relate to that. When artists may have been creating these pieces, and that it is coming from a place, way out there, that its consciousness is all the time trying to call us and remind us to remember, it's quite beautiful and very simplistic in a way, because what are they calling us to do? That's why I'm always wondering, well, why create these pieces? And it does come back to us just being able to acknowledge spirit's movement through us, through our pieces of art creation, through your work. But to, I suppose, I'm going back to that thing of simplicity, moving us to be kind to people, to be in harmony with each other, to have compassion and empathy. And I feel that's the movement they're trying to impress upon us. But it is fascinating, isn't it? Maybe one day I'll get to see this piece, that would be
yes
my health allowing. So yes, yeah, but beautiful story.
Yeah, that would be so amazing to have you here. And yeah, and I also feel that on some level, it's also tied up, as you were saying, this body of work is called The Return of the Gods. And, you know, if you were to look at where do they come from, I mean, do you have an inkling of
Well,
where that
this
might
is
be?
again, it's my own humble experience with them, and you see, each person's experience will be unique, so it's
Mm,
interesting. But before I ever started this body of work, now it was I only remembered, you know, when I think of what these pieces represent, and it is about remembering. But it was when I was, you know, part halfway into these pieces, I remembered a dream I had in 2007, and I'm going back to my dreams. This was again a very prophetic dream, and I had somehow kind of placed it back somewhere in my mind, or maybe it was put there for a reason so that I wouldn't recall it until I was halfway through the pieces. But during this dream, I was out under the night sky, beautiful blue sky, dark sky, and all I could see were the magnificent stars, you know. And I was behind myself, and there was a voice speaking to me at the same time. And I was told to look up into the sky, into the night sky. And a voice said, "You are of this constellation." And as I was looking up, I could see these brighter stars shining. And it said, "You are of the constellation of seven." Now, I didn't I suppose I didn't understand what that meant.
Mm.
Yes, being honest, I didn't understand what it meant. And as as it was mentioned, you are of the constellation of seven. These 7 points started to shine brighter and brighter and brighter until they started moving towards me, but they actually placed themselves onto the earth. And then I woke up, but I remember sharing it with Eugene, and I said, what, you know, in my ignorance, what, Eugene, what is the constellation of seven? Because he would have kind of dabbled and whatever, and he loved astronomy. And he said, that's known as the Seven Sisters, the Pleiades. So anyway, I just took that and went, oh, okay, you know, and thought, well, okay. But somehow just kind of it went into the back of my mind. But it was during the process of, you know, creating the Seven Sounds, I kind of all of a sudden, you know, oh my God, is it some representation of the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters? And of course, you know, I was just working on these 7 pieces. So I've always been left with that kind of, you know, longing. I mean, I would always be looking into the sky because I just know we're from somewhere out there, and I always feel home is out there. It's just something that's always been with me, and so I'm always wondering, you know, I find it quite fascinating, and I'm sure there's lots of people will have information on the Seven Sisters and Pleiades, but it would be lovely to know.
Yes.
Yes, so it's fascinating. I don't have answers, but yes,
Well,
in my
I'm so delighted because, you know, I trace, if you like, your origins in the constellations in this galaxy through astrology. So
wow,
I'll have a look and let you know what I find.
that would be amazing.
Yes, I should have thought of doing that before, but I know
Yeah,
this was about your work, so I didn't, but I will definitely have a look, and it
yeah,
would be amazing to share this with you. So yeah, thank you for sharing that.
yeah, and it's fascinating because on another level, you know, during the first or second piece, it was, you know, again just they're representations of the 7 heads of God, you know, the return of the gods. So I again, it's a question, you know, what is that? What does that mean? And you know, the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters, you know, it's quite fascinating. So it's I suppose when you get an answer, there's always another question in that answer. So it's forever unraveling,
Yes.
showing us little glimpses. So and
Yeah.
that would be amazing, you know?
And that's always the best way to always keep on unraveling. Absolutely. Like we don't need to have all the answers because
No.
there'll always be more as soon as we're able to understand a little bit further.
Yes.
Ah, this is wonderful. I'm so excited. As you were speaking, I was like, oh, just getting all of this kind of energy from your experience. Thank you so much.
Oh,
And also, I wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about your new body of work, which is absolutely incredible. And I'm sure is a gift on so many levels to people as they are, you know, in their evolutionary phase. And you're calling them spirit guide portraits.
yes. Well, I mean, going back to just in terms of my illness, I was seriously ill for probably 5 years, where I was bedridden and you know, would have seizures all the time, heart problems. All my organs were affected from what was eventually diagnosed as Lyme's disease, very late into the process of the illness. So I was diagnosed in 2019. So once I had my diagnosis, I suppose I was able to obtain some form of treatment. So it's taken me those years from 2019 to get to where I am now, where I can have a conversation here. And I also have some energy to do some work. Unfortunately, not yet sculpture, but I'm hoping one day. But this, with the new energy I have, or the bit of energy I have, I've been, I suppose, again, it's called to do spirit portraits. So it's enabling me, I suppose, to um, connect with spirit and also commence work again, and help and, you know, allow spirit to come in and through me and be of service again, I suppose, for people. So I've been inspired to just intuitively, you know, connect with, you know, the loved ones around people, and also their spirit guides. It's I've been really inspired to do it. So it's yes, it's been quite beautiful for me, because I suppose when I'm able to sketch now, I feel better because I'm able to connect with spirit. And so it's been quite beautiful. I was brave enough just before Christmas to put up on social media, which is all so new for me now, because I've been missing from society and life for so long. It's the only way, I suppose, I can work at the moment. So I just put up, and you know, that I was starting to work for spirit again, and if anybody would like to have a commission. So I've had a number of commissions, which was quite I was really taken aback, because yeah, because I've been missing for so long, I thought people would forget about me. But people have been so good and so supportive to me and encouraging me. So I've been working away, capturing people's spirit guides, and they come with a message. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing at the moment. So I'm just calling that Faces from Spirit, and so it's been quite beautiful to me. It's a very gentle way of spirit connecting with me, and then me being able to connect with people. So that's where I am at the moment, creating that body of work, which I hope one day. I'm also working on a body within that group called the Magi. So it is the wise men. So they're coming through. So I'm hoping to collect a body of work for that, and one day be able to share it, hopefully in a gallery situation. And then also the wise women. So that's my hope for the future. and then eventually to commence sculpting again as I get stronger. So that's what I'm doing now. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. I'm part of an art gallery here, which synchronicity of it all is so surprising. But today I have a course at the art gallery here, and we are doing the ancient wax pouring technique, the lost art of wax pouring, and we are going to pour on bronze. And I was like, oh, all the days that this could happen, because it's very unusual for this to be available here. Although it's a city that people come, it's not necessarily a city where you could get a workshop. But I just thought it must be a big coincidence that Lorrie and I are going to be speaking about your wonderful sculptures that, you know, some of them are in bronze. And so as you were saying, you know, about your new body of work and the art that you were, because they're beautiful. I saw them on Facebook. I'll put link below this video for people to see. I was thinking, hey, this is really easy. You could just bring them to the gallery here and do an exhibit here. So who knows if that will come into being, but that could be exciting for all of us to have you here.
Wonderful.
Yeah, amazing. And the Magi too. Magi.
Yes.
Amazing. Wow. I am so delighted to have had this conversation with you. And I don't know if you see me tugging, but I'm tugging a toy to my puppy because she's trying to bite my legs. But
well, it's so lovely to talk with you, Anouk, and I'm really humbled and honoured, you know, that.
Oh, likewise, absolutely likewise. And you've always brought so much to the world. I remember coming over the years to the gallery and just having a little chat with you, and it was always so wonderful and peaceful, and as you say, honoring and loving. And yeah, this is who you are, Lorrie. You know, you bring this to the planet. So thank you so much for all that you've been through, for sticking around with us and staying on the planet, because I know at times it was quite hard.
Yes, yeah, it was touch and go for a while. So I'm really blessed that I'm here, and
we are blessed to have you here. So we know that the work that's coming, it's powerful, because, you know, these are such amazing times. I wish I had the right word for what is coming, but absolutely, as you were feeling, you know, there has been a lot of change. We've all, you know, moved around the world, and our whole life changed. And then here we are. There is something magical and profoundly, I feel like a profound gift that comes from you. So thank you for bringing all that you bring through, and thank you for your commitment to this work, because you could have at some point said no more, but here you are, you know, bringing it through again and slowly opening it up. So I'm excited for whatever else is coming, and I would be delighted to have you here in Luxor. So let's see this space.
Well, you never know what God has planned for us, or the universe. So one day, you know, you never know. That would be
Yes. And just to finalize, you said that your daughter is creating a new website. So I will add the link below, so that if anybody wants to contact Lorrie, if anybody would like to have an amazing spirit guide portrait, I know that they're powerful, because I had a quick look on what you already created on your page on Facebook. So that is yet another amazing divine gift that you bring through.
Oh, well, thank you. My daughter, she has created a web page. It's called Gifts for the Soul by Lorrie.com. So you can go on there, but she's in the process of creating a special page with the sculptures that will be linked in with that. So that should be complete in the next week. So hopefully people will be able to just have a little view of them. So, but thank you again, Anouk. You're very kind.
Oh, absolutely. Is there anything else that you want to say before we say goodbye?
No, I think that's it. It's just
All
been,
right. Well, I am so honored to be in your presence and to have these moments with you, and delighted that I'll be able to share this with my very little community. And I hope that more and more people will come towards you for this new work.
yes, and the same with I suppose the Facebook community that I'm on. I'm sure they would be delighted to know about your work. So
Yes,
they're
Galactic.
absolutely fascinating. So
Yeah.
what is it again, Anouk?
So it's Galactic Origins Astrology. So I'm tracing the direction of the soul, literally as it's arriving on Earth through the constellations. And I've been doing this I started doing it with the fixed stars, and then I expanded out because I used to do past life regressions.
Yes.
And then over the years, a lot more clients were receiving their future selves and talking about different cultures, like different galactic cultures. And I started seeing if I could find out what that was through astrology, through their chart. And slowly but surely, everything just appeared. So yes, it's looking at where you're from in the stars through astrology. And I will take a look for you. I will let you know. I will message you later.
That would be amazing.
Yes,
Sounds absolutely fascinating. I'm going to share this with everyone. And my daughters as well. They will be fascinated with it.
what I will need is your date, time, and place of birth. So if you send it to me later.
Okay, I will do.
I'm so excited for what comes next. Thank you so much, my dear. I send you so much love from Luxor, Egypt, a very sunny Luxor, Egypt.
Oh,
And
to
yes.
you too.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.